Welcome back, guys and gals, to the Barry Charles Footy Show, Round 8 preview show of your favourite footy game, Rugby League. I wanted to take you through the top 4 teams and see where I ranked them for their first 7 to 8 games of the season already. I'll also talk about Jack Wighton, where is he going, and so much more, including the Hammer re-signing. Obviously, Hammer re-signing to 2027 is a big deal for the Dolphins, going all the way to the top of the promised land if they can sign some big players going forward. They're probably about 3 or 4 players short of being a real good team. If they can sign someone in the future, it would be good. Jack Wighton, where is he going? All the talk is South Sydney. It's a done deal. Is it a done deal? I think I beg to differ. I think there could be a couple other teams that were looking to sign him. Obviously, Latrell Mitchell's relationship with him is a big thing, but there's also the Sharks, who desperately could do with him at number 6, and also the Roosters could do with him possibly at number 6, and if not, a ready-made replacement for Sorley here at centre. But obviously the mail out theory is going to the Rabbitohs, but don't be surprised if there's some twists and turns to come with that. And obviously Payne Haas talked that he could go to Rugby Australia. Is it a good thing for him in his career? Well, I think if it's going to be money-wise, there's no doubt for me he'll go, but if he depends what he wants to do with his career. I no doubt he would kill in the rugby. But for the Broncos fans, you'd hope he'd continue here. Let's have a look at the top 4 teams so far, and let's see where I rank them on there, how they've gone so far. The Broncos, top of the table at the moment, 7 games, 6 wins, 1 loss. The loss to the Raiders is a concern, but the Raiders can play tough footy when they want to, and the Broncos will hopefully have learnt their lesson going forward. So I gave them a ranking A-. As the game last week against the Titans wasn't the greatest, and the loss to the Raiders suggests that there is more improvement needed for the Broncos. They need a bit more steel in their defence. Reece Walsh, Farnworth, Haas, Cobbo and Kerrigan are all playing well. If they can continue, they're definitely going to be a side to beat this season. Who needs to lift? I think Adam Reynolds. He could run the ball a bit more, just give him a bit more in attack. Sometimes he can be a little bit lackluster. And Jordan Ricky needs to get himself more involved in the game for mine. But my concern all year has been for the Broncos is Billy Walters and Corey Picks. Can they deliver at finals footy? That's going to be the big pressure on the Broncos so they can continue their form and make the top 4. So I do predict they will still be in the top 4 by the end of the season, but I am a little bit worried about the origin period with the lack of depth in the squad. Let's get a Penrith, who again I've gone A- with them as well. They lost to the Eels and Broncos by 1. But they're beating the Rabbitohs, Raiders and Seagulls and the Knights. But I'm not fully convinced they're the real deal yet, the Panthers this season. Luai, Kenny and Luke need to go to another level if they want to be that top team looking for that 3-peat. I think you need a bit more out of them. Manly and the Raiders, I think it was more about they were that bad on that day than Penrith being absolutely outstanding. But if you're looking at the guys that are playing very well, Dylan Edwards, Isaiah and Cleary are clearly world-class players. And even with Fisher Harris out at the moment, Mosi Leota has been absolutely outstanding. But at the moment, I just see Penrith as a top 6 team. I'm not going to declare them a top 4 team because I'm not convinced they are. The Warriors are a B+ for mine at the moment. They are the second most surprise of the top 8 outside of the Dolphins so far this season, with 5 wins and 2 losses. Losing to the Roosters and the Knights, both games they dropped the ball too much, and the same against the Cowboys, and that's a trend they're going to have to change going forward against the best teams if they want to continue their top 4 hunt. And maybe by the year together, coach Andrew Webster has really transformed the Warriors. The way they're playing defensively, they've shown some resolve, which we haven't seen from the Warriors in a long time. Looking at Johnson, I've been tough taskmasking him over the years, but he's playing the best footy he's played in the Warriors jersey in 10 years. Jazz Tavaga needs to cut out the drop balls, and outside of that, he is playing well with Dylan Walker, and Nickel Clockstead's been very good for the Warriors as well, making the meters. But Nia Corey as a player, I think that it could go to another level, and that is scary, because if he does get to another level, the Warriors could be super good. And I think he could easily move to the centres just to help the defensive side of the Warriors. But to me, out wide is where my concerns are. Watini Selesnik clearly got carved up a few times on the weekend. He'll need to improve his game out there to keep himself in the team. Can the Warriors stay in the top 4? There will be a question to ask later on. I'm going to say there are more chance of making the top 8 than staying in the top 4. They really would have to continue this defensive resolve and improve their knock-ons if they really want to go to the next level. But yes, as Warriors fans, we know that even when they look good, they know how to derail. Let's hope they don't this season. Manly, they're in 4th at the moment. I'll give them a B+. They could be a lot better, but drawing to the Knights was disappointing, especially in the defence. They've had 3 wins, a draw and 2 losses. Looking at the teams, the Bulldogs and Eels are not great. So, I mean, beating them is no problem. And the Storm have been up and down this season, so question marks over how good Manly are going. They lost to the Rabbitohs and Panthers, where they're good teams, so you'll understand that. But the big concern for Manly fans is the defence. They need to improve that big time. Cherry Evans and Tommy Turbo are playing very good footy. Obviously, Garrick and Olakau'atu are playing great as well. But they need more out of the number 6. Josh Schuster back this week should help. But even when Cooper Johns is here, they need to step up and help out Cherry Evans to help out the spine. I think Jason Saab could get to another level, but he's been coming back from injury, so you've got to give him a bit of time, but he can improve. Jake Jabrovich needs to cut out some of the penalties he's in this game. Mainly are a top 8 chance, but yeah, there's some improvement needed. And it's good to see Aaron Woods return. I think he'll be a good signing for the group and could help galvanise the team. Let's get to obviously Jack Wighton. Well, we talked a bit about Jack Wighton, but yeah, I still think there could be a twist in the tail. Storm, Sharks, maybe Roosters, but obviously the Raiders as well. But we'll see if Rabbitohs get them over the line. And obviously the New Zealand, talking about getting an A-team or Prime Minister 13. My query about this is, are the NRL clubs going to allow their players to play in this game? There has been an issue in the past with Prime Minister 13, with probably half of the team getting scratched before they get to Port Moresby, so that's going to be a question mark whether you actually get a decent A-team. It might be more like a C-team, and it's not going to be that good for international footy if that is the case. Yes, so let's get to Thursday night footy. Yes, what's on? The Rabbitohs versus Penrith Panthers. Let's look at the history of the game. 41 games. Panthers have won 25 and the Rabbitohs have won 16. Panthers have had the wood on the Rabbitohs in the last few seasons. Interesting stat there to consider. The Panthers have conceded 79 points compared to the Rabbitohs 114. And the Panthers have a better completion rate of 80% compared to the Rabbitohs 73%. So everything indicates that the Panthers will win this game. But let's look at the key matchups for this match. Latrell Mitchell's brilliance versus Dylan Edwards, the taller James Tedesco like never give up attitude. You could argue if Mitchell had Edwards' attitude, engine, he'd be one of the greatest players of all time. Johnson versus Toho. What a game it's going to be. Two teams that really like to score tries, Toho and Meter Eater. These try machines. Going to be an interesting clash up between these two. Johnson has been a bit quiet. He needs to lift his game. But that's because they're playing all the time down the other side with Campbell Graham, who's pushing for a New South Wales selection, which Tago will need to defend well against Campbell Graham, who's in career best form. Walker versus Luai. Obviously, Luai, you could argue, hasn't been the greatest, but I'm expecting a bounce back this week. Walker, I feel, will go missing in this game, as he often does in the big games. He's 2 rocks and diamonds for me. Jai Arrow and Moses Leota. What a clash this is going to be if they play like they did last week. Both of them, it's going to be an outstanding collision. And obviously the New South Wales teammates, Isaiah Yeo and Cameron Murray. That will be a great matchup to watch those two play. The best 2 locks in the game. To me, where this game is going to be won is on the bench with Sonny Luke, Lindsay Smith, Lenu and Salmon. Have known their roles on the bench for the last couple of years, and I'm expecting that'll be the difference in this game. So I'm going for the Panthers by 12 points. And to score a try will have to be Toho. I wouldn't be surprised with the Rabbitohs one, but they need Latrell, Damien Cook, Lachlan Ilias, and Mitchell to play 9 out of 10 games. 9 out of 10, yep. Absolutely going to have to cover up. Let's look at Friday night football. Parramatta Eels versus the Broncos. This is a must win for the Eels. If we look at the history of the modern era, you have to win 4 of your first 8 games to win the comp. It's been proven time and time again. A few teams have made the grand final like the Cowboys, but they've ended up losing in the end. So you've got to win 4 of your first 8 games. This is the Eels' last chance. They've had 3 wins, 4 losses. They have to win today to get it done. And will they in Darwin? Their season will be in tatters if they don't win this one. The Eels. Broncos, this is obviously a danger game for them. Everyone's expecting them to win. But they could get their pants pulled down if they don't turn up with the right attitude. I think they're going to win this game easy. Remember last time that these two played, the Eels went on a rampage to the grand final when they won 53 points to 6. Broncos have an 86% record this year. Winning record, and the Eels have only got 43%. The completion rates are pretty even, 75% each. Eels have won 26 of the last 48 games against the Broncos. But a good stat for you Eels fans, 75% of the games at this venue in Darwin they've won. So that is a very good sign for Eels fans, and that's maybe an omen to pick the Eels. But let's look at the key matchups. King Guffer taking on Reece Walsh. Obviously, again, similar toughness of Guffer against the flash in the pan of Reece Walsh. This game for Walsh to show that he's the real deal. He needs to step up against this team and really just put them away. Micah Sivo versus Cobbo, both on the top of the game. This will be about 40 in cash. Penasini and Farnworth, they both get through the meters. No flash player, but they do their hard work. It's going to be a good battle between them, the 2 ball runners. Moses versus Reynolds. Over the years, Reynolds would say has had the wood over Moses, but the last couple of years, Moses has come into his career best form. Sean Lane returns. That's good signs for you Penrith fans. And he's taking a Ricky who's been a little bit down on himself. I think Sean Lane wants to make a statement, and obviously Jordan Ricky can put himself back in the minds of the New Zealand selectors. Fleeger returns, making the Broncos much stronger in the forward pack, with Haas taking on probably the two informed props of the game, Polo and Gillard, and Ryan Madison. He's playing outstanding footy versus Patrick Carrington. Going to be a good matchup between those two. Ryan Madison's playing good enough football to be in the New South Wales team, but I don't think he will be. But he definitely makes the Eels a much better side since he's returned. I do have a little gut feeling the Eels might win this game, but I'm still going to stick with my head and say the Broncos will still get this done. I think they got too much class in their back line. If the forwards hold their own there, I think the Broncos will get there. I think it's going to be a close game, so I get the Broncos by 1. And Cobbo to score a try. And also on the side note, it's good to see Corey Oates return to the team. Bulldogs taking on the Sharks. To be honest, this should be Sharks all day long. With the Bulldogs decimated by so many injuries, I think 11 players out. The stats since 19, the Bulldogs have a little bit of a good record here, winning 19 out of 42 games. But, 19 games to 17 games, so pretty, not much between these two teams. But the Sharks have had the wood over them over the last few seasons. And on current form, the Sharks are due a loss, believe it or not. This season they haven't won a double. This season they've lost one, so they're due for a loss if you're looking at that stat. Bulldogs have to win. This is their last chance saloon. After winning 3 games and losing 4, they have to win this game to have any chance of winning the premiership. But I think most people realise the Bulldogs won't be winning the premiership this year. And unfortunately the injuries have curtailed that big time. So the Bulldogs have obviously put Matt Burton to 7 and Kyle Flanagan to 6. It'll be interesting to see how that works. I don't think it's much difference anyway. I think Burton's been running the show anyway. If we look at a bit of the defensive here, 129 has been conceded here by the Sharkies and 175 by the Bulldogs of late. The completion rates both in 75%. The Bulldogs have won 54% of their games in this venue. And the Sharks have only won 37% at this venue, so that, again, that gives you something for you Bulldogs fans to cling on to. But Bulldogs have named Amarillo, but I don't think he's going to play. And on the other side, I'm sure that the Bulldogs would love to take Braden Trindle now. He's not wanted by the Sharks basically in the top 17. So it'll be interesting to see what happens later down the track and Gus get Braden Trindle by mid-season. But whether Trindle would want to go to a losing club, he might want to stay here and hope that maybe injury comes and he'll be there at the grand final town. But to be honest, Burton's under so much pressure. He's only got Mahoney, Sutton and Reynolds with experience really. And Raymond Matala-Mariner. It's going to be a very tough season I think for the Bulldogs now. Tafita Pangai Jr. return was pretty good. And that was good to see. He needs to continue there. And the rest of the team are just solid footballers, and some are just lucky to be in Nrl at the moment, to be honest, but they need to be because of injuries. Where on the other side, Hines is the man. He should be New South Wales number 6 in my opinion. Whether he gets that, I don't know, but he's obviously the one to be in his clash with Burton will be huge. Mahoney and Bradley will be another good game just to watch it, and I think Jacob Preston's been pretty good for the Bulldogs and taking on Nakora, who's been a little bit off his game, and I'm expecting him to bounce back this week. But to be honest, I can't see anything else for the Sharks one here. I think they won by 24 points to plus. I think they're just going to absolutely smash them. I expect Katoa to score a try. It's going to be a long night for you Bulldogs fans, I can tell you that now. Cowboys versus the Knights on Saturday Night Football, the only game this week on a Saturday. sees the Cowboys, who have been very woeful lately. They need to find form, and they need to find it fast. They need some truth talks, and they need to find a win. But undoubtedly, they're taking on probably one of the top 4 teams at the moment in terms of form. The Knights, they've been very good over the last few weeks. Unlucky to lose to the Panthers, so they'll be hurting from that game. So you could expect a bounce back factor. The Knights are slightly better in history, around 21 wins out of 41, so they're pretty even with history. The Cowboys only 29% winning record this season against the Knights 43%, so it's not good for the Cowboys fans out there. But yes, the Cowboys really need, Todd Payton needs to find another level for his team to get another level. Defensively, both these teams have been fairly even this season, but the Knights have scored a bit more, so that's the thing. The Cowboys need to find more points. They struggle to find points this season. The Cowboys have been 80% possession completion and 70% for the Knights, so a little bit better there for the Cowboys. The Knights have lost all 3 games here, so every time they've turned here, there have been no show or winning the game. Drinkwater versus Miller, both exciting players. Drinkwater should be fully match fit now, and I'm expecting a big game from him. Dominic Young versus Taulagi, England's best against Queensland's best, and what a game that will be. And whoever wins that game could be the difference in the game. Brandon Best taking on Valentine Holmes. They're going to be an interesting one. Both very attacking players, so it could be entertaining footy there. And also, can Hiku get under Dane Gagai's skin and push for another sin bin? It'll be interesting to see. McLean versus Saviti, that'll be a good stage up front. For South versus Nano, that will be very good to see as well. And Cotter, to me, he'll have the edge over Koopman for me. I think I could be mad, but I'm going for the upset in this one. I'm going to go with the Cowboys, and I expect improvement from Chad Townsend and Tommy Dearden. They can't be bad a few more weeks in a row. Surely they'll bounce back for this one, so they get the Cowboys by 12. Even without Tamalolo, I think the Knights will get this done here, and I'll go Taulagi to score a try. But don't be surprised if the Knights win this game. Dolphins versus Titans. This is another tough game, to be honest. The final battle of Queensland. Can Wayne Bennett's men punch above their weight and forge a victory, or will the Titans push themselves close to a top 8 bid? This should be an exciting game. I expect a big scoring game. Both teams need to improve the completion rate. I mean, Dolphins' completion rate's very good, 80%. Sorry, the Titans are really need to improve their completion rate of 74%. Points conceded are pretty similar. Let's have a look at the key matchup for this one: the Hammer versus Campbell, or maybe Brimson. Doesn't matter. These are all exciting players. Fido's in career best form, and he's trying to push himself into the Queensland team somewhere. I don't think he'll make the team, but you never know. They could put a Swifty and put him on the wing, but there's some very good candidates for that. Other matchups to look out for in this game, I think near Cora and Foran will be Nicarima and Corin, sorry. I feel that this is where the Titans can win their game. The way Kieran Foran is playing and that hard edge, direct the team around. I think Nicarima needs to step up in their factors. And I think that's where the Titans might be able to sneak victory there. Philip Sammy, he's playing some very good football, and be interesting to see how he goes in the game against Ewan Aiken, who's very good defensively. And Osako and Khan Pierre are playing good football and men score trying freaks, and they could be scoring again this weekend. Look at this though. This is where the game is going to be won here. Bromwich, SASA, Kafusi taking on the Fafita, taking on Tino. This is going to be one hell of a forward pack for Tuaka as well. It's going to be one great clash. I believe this is going to be a high-scoring affair, but I'm going to go the Titans by 6 points. No guarantee there with Canberra to score a try. Let's look at Sunday afternoon footy at Campbelltown as the Tigers take on the Seagulls. On overall record, Manly have the wood over the Tigers, winning 20 of the 34 games since the West Tigers have joined forces. Manly have beaten them convincingly in the last 2 games, 66 points to 26, a 40-point difference. Manly have a 78% completion rate compared to the Tigers' 72%. Manly have won 4 out of 5 games at Campbelltown. That's an interesting one. They won 4 out of 5 games in Campbelltown. So they've got a very good record at Campbelltown, which I found surprising. And also Buller on debut. Can he take on the baptism of fire of Tommy Turbo and the Eels? I think it's a silly decision to put him in against this sort of team. It could ruin the kid for years to come if it goes wrong. But we will see. I think Stain and Garrick will be a good matchup between them. With Stain's speed versus Garrick's defence, this should be a good game of footy there. But I think the halves will be the difference in this one. Brooks and Wakeham, to be fair, are lucky to be in the NRL side. There's just not much underneath them, and that's why they're still in. But when you look at Sam Walker being dropped and Braden Trindle, these guys would definitely be in front of them. And they're not playing in the NRL this week. So what does this say for the likes of Flanagan as well, with Brooks, Tyson Gamble? These guys are playing, and you got these good Braden Trindle, Sam Walker not. It's tough times for some players. Brooks has been a solid player for the Tigers. He's been the scapegoat for a lot of things. But clearly his time is up. And I'm still surprised why he's even in the team, because he's playing like a $100,000 player, not $1 million player. From all reports, I believe the Tigers, and anyone's even got some interest in them at the moment. There's a possibility Canberra might go for them if Jack Wighton's gone. But more than likely he'll end up in the Super League. But another one they could pick up Luke Brooks for cheap money is the Dolphins, if Wayne Bennett thinks he can get the best out of him. But after Anthony Milford's return, I can't see that happening. But if you look at the forward packs here, this is where it could be interesting here. You got Stefano, Coruscant, Clemmer, Papali'i, Bateman and Pule versus Paseka, Crocker, Trbojevic, Olakau'atu, Bullimore and Aleoe. Dane Laurie and Tommy Talau return off the bench. Interesting to see them both on the bench. I'm not sure what's happening there. And with Manly, got 3 big props on the bench. Again, there's another interesting decision in this day and age. I'm not sure if you need 3 props on the bench, but that's what they're going with. Nofaluma could be a chance to return to the starting side. I don't think he will, but you never know. I see. I think Manly are just going to need Josh Schuster to stay on the field for the rest of the season if they want to be a premiership friend. But I still think Manly are going to get this one. I'm going to go Manly by 13, and I go for Garrick to score a try. Now let's get to Anzac Day. We've got 2 games on Anzac Day, one during the day and one at night time. The Roosters versus the Dragons. The rivalry, the one of the oldest in the league. This history is obviously in between these 2 teams. And the Roosters have the wood over the Dragons, winning 25 of the past 47 games played. But on the corresponding game last year, the Dragons got the win in the Anzac Deities. I'm not tested for the game, but I've got a feeling it might be a massacre. And Anthony Griffin finally falls on the sword, with the Roosters winning 50-0. Dreams are free, Roosters fans, but you never know. I'm expecting Roosters to win big time. I think Joey Manu is a master stroke going to 6. Whether it would have been Luke Keary, I might have had Sam Walker instead of Luke Keary. I'm not sure Luke Keary is. I think he's past his best on what I've seen. Shame for the Warriors, they couldn't get him because I think the Warriors would be a really superstar team this season if they had Jerry Manu in the squad. But not to be. But he will eat money all day. That's going to be a worrying sign. Kerry is given the keys to the castle, so he'll have to step up and play a real big game. He's probably 3 years of inconsistency, so I'm not sure if he's the saviour now, but we will see. He had Cooper Cronk when he played his good games, but he's no Cooper Cronk now. He has to be Cooper Cronk. Sam Walker, well, he has to be Luke Keary, obviously, but you know what I mean. Sam Walker, what's the mean for Sam Walker? Will he still be at the Roosters? He's signed for a couple more years, so you expect him to stay at the Roosters. But if you're not going to keep making him like Kyle Flanagan, it's going to be interesting. Yeah, I think there's going to be an interesting game. Angus Crichton making his return with Tupanua. Lomax and Sualihi, there should be a big clash up there. James Tedesco, he's gonna have a big game against Sloane, I'd expect. With Jerry Manu, I think it's going to be a 30+ win for the Roosters. I really think they're going to really give it to them. Jerry Manu to score a double. The final game, Melbourne Storm versus the Warriors on Anzac Day. Memory lane last year was not good for the Warriors fans. An absolute embarrassment, 70 points to 10 on Anzac Day. The Warriors' record against the Storm wasn't much better. Only won 16 of the 49 matches. Completion rates are similar this year. Same with average points scored and against. This is the Warriors we're talking about here. They're a different beast in 2023. But the venue stats for the Warriors is no good. Only winning 25%. So only won 3 out of 12 games at the venue. While Melbourne have an outstanding record of 74%. Basically meaning they win 3 of their 4 games at home. So really, Melbourne Storm, it's all writing on the wall for the Warriors fans, I think, this week. Warbrick takes on Kossi and Coates takes on Watini Selesniak. I am worried for the Warriors defensively out wide, and there could be a massacre again if they don't defend well. And the Melbourne Storm, after how they performed last week, I expect a big turnaround. But the Warriors' defence has been a big turnaround, and has been an issue for them though. Out wide for 30 years, out wide in the defence, but they really have been improved this year. Can they continue? I think Melbourne Storm, the best in the comp of finding weaknesses, so it's going to be something the Warriors going to get tested all day. Let's hope they can deliver. Munster and Hughes versus Walker and Johnson. This could be the difference in the match. Munster and Johnson in particular being in good form all year. Whether Johnson can rise to the occasion, this is a big test for him. But my worry also for the Warriors is Freddie Luskett is no Wade Egan, and Harry Grant is way above both of them. And he will probably be the difference in this game, just absolutely controlling the ruck. So I'm worried for the Warriors fans. So the Warriors might rue resting Wade Egan for this one. And Corey needs to go to another level. I think he needs to go. At least Katoa taking on the Warriors for the first time. Be interesting against his whole club. But yeah, to me, I think the Storm are going to win this one, and I'm going to go 13+. With Xavier Coates to score a try. Thank you very much for joining me on the Barry Charles Footy Show. I hope you enjoyed the preview show. And I'll be back with a review of all the NRL footy next week. Have a great one out there.